one of the first things I want to discuss with Evoto is using the background adjustments to change the background and how to keep the shadows. This has been an issue a lot of people were asking about, but not many people are using the tool that does it. It was a recent addition Evoto did, but now it's here. Let's get into it. First thing you want to do is you want to go to the background adjustments. One thing I do want you to notice, and I don't know if this is the latest version that's doing this, or maybe it was done before. You see how next to background adjustment now there's a blue B. I don't recall seeing that before. Next to portrait retouching R, E is next to color adjustment, C is next to crop. I already knew there was shortcut keys, but I don't recall seeing them put the shortcut there, which is really nice because you just see it and it kind of gets in your head. So now I know background adjustment B. So we're going to start out by changing the backdrop. One thing I want you to know is that you want to pick a darker backdrop than you might think you need. And you'll see why in a second. I'm going to pick this blue because it's the darkest blue here. And you see immediately the shadows disappear. What you want to do is you want to go back out and you want to go to the opacity slider now. As you lower the opacity, you're bringing back the shadows into this beautiful blue. But what I want you to also notice is the color's fading. So it's not the blue we started with, which is here. It's this new blue, which is a lighter blue. So that is one way to change the backdrop. Now, anything you add, you're going to get a lighter version of it. Red, there's another red, yellow, green, another green, brown, gradient blue, another blue. The reason I tell you also to go with the darkest shade is because if you look at the lightest shade, because I fade it, it's not, here's my original. It's not that much of a color. Also, I do want you to notice the difference in the shadow. As you see, the shadow is definitely lighter, but at least it's still there. To bring it back out 100%, you have to lower the backdrop all the way, and then you don't have the color change. So that's the first way to do this in Evoto. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset this, and we're now going to go into the local masking. You're going to go into your color adjustment tabs, which you can press E, and you're going to select local here. Then from there, you're going to select the background. Now with the background, you have multiple ways to change it. We can start out by just simply doing the tint. Green tint, pink tint. We can also change the temperature of the background. I'm actually going to turn, for now, I'm going to turn real-time color adjustments on. I forgot that was off for another reason I'm going to show you. And you can see how they blend. You can pick a warm pink color, turns more orange. Let me cool this off. Blue, come down here, another shade. And you get these different colors. So that's one way to do it. Another way that I like to do it is I use the curves. Let's start out with red. If we want more red, we go to the left and up. We want more cyan, it's right and down. So let's say I wanted a red backdrop. I'm going to start bringing in the reds. Maybe even more reds in the highlights, shadows. Just play around with these until you get something that starts to look decent. I don't want it all. Now the blues, let's say we want to take out some of those blues, maybe add some. And you'll see it's starting to form, but there are issues. This is the problem of doing it this way. What I'm going to do is come up here now too, and I'm going to maybe, because this is just affecting the backdrop. So maybe I want to raise the blacks up a little bit, take down the shadows. Actually, let me take down the blacks. Nope, I'll leave them where they are. Your exposure, let's turn down the exposure, start to see what happens. The contrast, play around with the contrast, play around with your highlights. One thing, so I want you to notice in this picture, even the original, the top left quadrant of the picture is a lot brighter. So here, that's why this is much brighter. So then just bring that down. You're bringing down the highlights. We're starting to form a nice red color, nice rich red color. Bring down the shadows. We can bring up the shadows. We want to see, we're just looking for the color we want. Lower those whites down. Take the blacks here, and we have a nice red color. Now, if I want to go blue, okay, let me reset this. Reset this. Take the blues. Let's raise up the blues. For the reds, I might want to go into more cyans. Let's go into the base again. Lower the exposure. Again, bring down those highlights so it blends better. Mess around with the shadow. See what the blacks do. Clarity. You can even take up and down the saturation, which shouldn't affect it much. But because of the way we're doing this, temperature, bring that way down because we know that to the left is blue. And so far we're making this really nice blue color. And there, we have a nice blue color. We can come back down here and continue to mess with this. You can pretty much, once you get used to it, make any color you want. There, got a nice blue, you kept your shadows. Because the mask is just masking the backdrop, which includes the shadows, as opposed to the other one, which is masking out the front image and then changing everything behind it. So now we have a blue, and we can go, like I said, any color you want. And something else I want to show you now, knowing this too, I'm going to reset this all. I'm going to go back to the background adjustments. Let's go back to the blue. The opacity is already set. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Some more blue. And like I said, as you notice, as you raise it, you're going to lose those shadows. All depends on how much you want. In this case, I'm going to raise it up a little higher than I normally would. I do have some shadow there. Looks great. But you can still go ahead and in the color adjustments, do some work too. So I'm going to turn off this real-time color adjustment so I could see the image behind it. And then again, we can mess with shadows. Bring them down, and we can make more shadows. And we can, I'm still on the background adjustment, local background. We can raise the blacks if we want, lower the blacks if we want. So we can bring back in some of the shadow on its own. Highlights, let's kill those highlights again. Let's raise them up, see what we get. We're keeping more of that shadow. So it's little tweaks to keep some of the shadowing, make it just a little more strong while you're reducing that opacity in the backdrop changer. So if let me just refresh this so you'll see there what it looks like with the other things we changed in the color adjustment. That's what you see. And then we add back in this blue. Take it back down to about 50% in this case. Normally I like to go around 30s, so you have a light, as I like to go into the clarity and bring up the clarity of this backdrop. Just my personal preference, it brings a little more grain back into the background. If I take the clarity all the way down, it's too clean, which, like I said, do you. If I want to bring it all the way up, brings a little bit of the dirt back into it in a way, the graininess, the overall image. And remember, it is masking everything back here, so even like the hair, see, hair can come back a little bit more. Play around with the clarity too. But that's it. That'll give you the looks you want, and you have what you need. And then also, just show you this. There's a blue that I did. Here's a red that I did. Move this over. This is a screenshot from earlier, just to show people. Blue. I did a lighter blue here. that's it. Enjoy using Evoto and use it to the best you can. Till the next one. Don't forget to subscribe because I'll be posting a lot of videos soon.